puppies, litters of puppies. Oh my Lord, I don't want to do that. And then you come home from a shift, in your scrubs, and you're all gross from your shift, and then you have like 2 crates full of like 15 puppies, and they've all gone potty. You've got to get everybody outside while they're little poopy footprints, and then you've got to clean there, and this is like at 3 in the morning. I'm like, oh no. But I learned a lot. So I think I wrote down I fostered 1 jillion dogs. That was my final count. And then oh, are you living me?
Yes, introduce yourself.
Hi, y'all. I'm Cinimon. Wish y'all were here. Sorry. But you're sitting live. Yay! All right. Say thank you, Miss Tia. Thank you, Miss Tia. So I started my business in 1999 because I knew that what people needed was just a different way, right? We need a different way to deal with our animals and our kids. I'm not calling her that. She's like, ah! And our kids in a nice way. Is nice the word? Maybe nice is the word. I think in a diplomatic way. I think in a mutually respectful way. Because for me, the main ingredients are dignity. Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one, because think about that for a minute. Old school training techniques, there's no dignity. There's no dignity for that animal. It's you have to do what I say to do when I say to do it. And if you don't, you're just dumb. What is that? And look, Crawfish, my dog, I was that personality when I was a kid. Woo! I was like the hyper pain in the butt, and my mom still loves me. It's like a Christmas miracle. I can't believe it. So awesome. She was texting me earlier going, the Facebook Live ain't working. What's going on? So I had to text her out. But it's respect, allowing others their dignity, and meeting in the middle, and having kindness and compassion, right? Because my specialty is highly aggressive dogs. That's what I do. I deal with dogs who nobody wants to touch, who have mauled children, who have killed other animals, who have mauled the owner. I mean, many dogs have mauled their own owner. And so for me, when I see a dog frothing at the mouth and trying to eat my face off, my first thought is, oh, honey, are you okay? Where's the owie in your heart? Why in the world would you feel the need to react that violently to me? Because let me tell y'all, I'm a nerd. Like, really? If I'm threatening? No, come on. So, the respect is such a huge deal for me. And look, let me tell you this. I've worked for many other trainers too, back years ago. And I don't name names, I don't burn bridges, y'all. But I worked for a trainer out here, and he used old school methods. Old school methods meaning, I remember this dog coming, it was a Bouvier, big, beautiful Bouvier. Have y'all seen a Bouvier, right? So beautiful. And they can be hardcore. Like, they can be scary. They're big old honking dogs. They look like a standard Schnauzer or something. They're so pretty. And it had bitten the neighbor's children. And so this trainer, I'm not going to do quotes because that's really disrespectful, because he feels he is a trainer and he feels he's doing the right thing. But he brought this dog in and kept it in a kennel for, I think, 5 days. Didn't touch it, cleaned the kennel, just hosing it off with a dog in it. And then on the 6th day, brought this dog out and put a choke chain on with a leash and tied that to the fence. Then had a pinch prong collar and leash from the dog to him. And then he said, down! And the dog was like, what the whoa? Dog didn't know what to do. So he did this, boom, and kicked that leash, and that dog, and laid down. So he proceeded to do that to that dog 3 days in a row, and then proclaimed it cured. Now it won't bite anybody ever again, because he's cured. He's trained. He can lay down when I tell him to lay down. See, I'm not even looking at my cards. Good Lord, y'all. Yeah, you're going to cut me off because I'm on a roll now. And then I thought, wait a minute. This goes against everything that I believe in. Because if that dog is biting people, there's something going on in the environment. Like, kids just don't go out and beat up another kid without there being something going on You know what I mean? Like my 7-year-old son, he even knows. Like he says, this little boy at school was bullying him, and he came home and he said, Mama, I think that when kids hit at school, they're not getting hugged enough at home. I said, you know what? I think you're right. So after seeing that with that Bouvier, I said, you know, I can't do this. I can't morally, ethically, I can't be here. And I certainly won't do what he does. And we had been hashing it out. I'm like, look, there's another way. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that to a dog, to a horse, to your mother-in-law. Saying, people, let me speak the truth. And I sat down with him. I said, you know what? I know I started my business, and it wasn't really, you know, as big as I thought because I had just started it. And I said, I thank you so much for this opportunity to learn and work with you, but I think I'm ready to do my business, you know, get into my business again and really give it a go. And I remember it, he, because I'm Southern and I'm blonde, I guess he thought he could do it. He patted me on the knee, and he said, oh, honey, you will fail. Your techniques don't work. You don't know what you're doing. And you will, in 1 month, you will come crawling back and begging for your job. And I said, you know what? You're probably right. And thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity. And I walked away, and that's, Tia had talked about, that's the year that I won Best Dog Trainer in LA. You know what? No, sir, you do, and you know what? I'm a horse person, right? So I don't know if y'all heard of Monty Roberts. And his famous quote that I love so much, it's on my brochure, it's on my website, and his quote is, none of us has the right to say to an animal, you must or I will hurt you. How dare we? How dare we? And again, my little human son, I have to say human, right, because I have dogs. My human son, not my canine son, but my human son has known since he was 4 years old, just because you can does not mean you should. Does not mean you should. And it does not give you a right, just because you can slap on a shock collar, although sometimes, wouldn't that be nice? I think crawfish run around the house destroying everything. I wish I could just go, oh, but I don't. I mean, you want to strangle them sometimes, but it doesn't mean you do, right? But just because you can doesn't mean you should. It doesn't give you the right to do that. So you know what? When you take a dog to an obedience class and you go, oh, well, no, you know, he's too dumb, he can't learn. No, we're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong. The trainer's doing it wrong. The teacher's doing it wrong. The parents are doing it wrong. You know, it's up to you. That's just a darn dog. Now, y'all, if it knew what to do, it'd do it. I mean, dang, they're not stupid. You know what I mean? So it's up to us to kind of educate ourselves more about how they behave and why they do what they do and how to help them. You know, and the dogs that I work with, I do call special needs children because they are. When you have a dog whose brain doesn't work like the majority, and it triggers highly and gets very violent and very aggressive, and it's very hard to get the dog to calm down after that very violent trigger, well, that's okay too. You know? I mean, and we were just talking, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. You're hiding in the corner. And, you know, she has a very fearful baby. And I said, well, maybe just that dog doesn't need to go on walks. You know, I mean, if he's scared, then maybe that's just he needs to stay home. Because a lot of times I think, here's what the human wants and here's what the dog wants, and they are so different. You know, and has anybody stopped to really think about, well, what is it that my dog wants? Well, I want this, and I want it to, you know, go to Westminster Dog Show, and I want it to wear a tutu and play piano. It's like, no, hold on. What does your dog want? And maybe it's just too scared to go out. And dogs are like little kids, you know? I mean, when I tell people, maybe don't walk the dog. Walks are overrated, by the way. Walks are overrated. There are other ways to exercise your child, especially in LA. There are a bunch of crazy people out there with loose dogs. Oh my Lord. And little crawfish is just like a little pistol. And he's like, you want to fight? Cool. You want to play? Cool. You want to fight again? Cool. He doesn't care. He'll go back and forth. So I have to be really careful. But when I tell people don't walk your dog, they go, oh, but he gets so excited. He really wants to do it. And I say, oh, yeah, little kids want chocolate cake every day for breakfast too. Doesn't mean you give it to them. Like somebody's got to be the grown-up, right? Somebody's got to say, I know that you love your walks, but honey, you're in over your head. And you get a little wonky, and you're too crazy pants, as my son says, crazy pants. And then you can't calm down. So respect and dignity. Big deal. I'm trying to stay back on track. I think Laura's giving me the invert. Look, I only have like 5 cards because I talk so darn much. I had to whittle it down. So old school training, I just want to talk about that for a second. And old school training is basically, I will give you overt punishment for things that you are doing that I do not agree with, right? Leash pop, which by the way, I don't do any leash corrections whatsoever. There's absolutely no need for them. It's just a dumb thing to do. Yeah, right. I mean, why? Because why leash corrections? It's so silly. I mean, leash corrections are great for the punisher because it makes you go, there, I showed you. You can scratch out a little bit. Like, no, man, it ain't about you. Like when you have a kid, when you get a dog, it ain't about you anymore. Doesn't that suck? Then you gotta think about them, their wants and needs. But I don't do leash corrections because the risk you run, and look, how many people have pit bulls? Is that a stupid question in this one? So, oh, she's getting the hand raised. Woo! Things are hurting everybody. Just saying. So, the risk you run when you reprimand a dog for being aggressive, and you're such a good mama. She's like, I don't reprimand my baby. Good mom. Here's the risk you run. The canine brain works differently than our primate brain. So this is disrespectful, so dogs don't listen. The canine brain is a little more simplistic in how it functions. So if you have a dog on leash here and it is reacting towards another dog and you go, no, then what your dog is learning is, oh, okay, I got it now. So every time that dog is here, I am freaked out by that dog and I get it from you. Okay, so that dog is really, really, really bad. Totally get it. So then if you're continuing to leash pop, and leash pop, and leash pop, what you're really doing, and this is when I get the call from the clients who says, all of a sudden, out of the blue, he bites. And I go, oh, so basically what you've done is take away his panic. You've taken away the growl, you've taken away the bark, you've taken away all warning signs. So now what your dog has learned is, oh, okay, so if I get the pop, so they're mad at me because I'm being verbal and overt and barking, so I'm not gonna do that anymore, I'm just gonna wait. Wait till that dog's close and I'm gonna nail it, right? So, all of that stuff needs to be thrown out the window. Look, what I do ain't rocket surgery. It's really freaking easy, right? Time consuming and a pain in the butt, sure, but it's actually really easy because all you need to do is add good stuff with potentially scary stuff. Yeah, tell them that on the phone. Give me that phone. Add good stuff with scary stuff. That's all you really need to do. Because if you're trying to get your dog to not be reactive to it, because how many people have reactive dogs who will bark at other dogs? I mean, right? It's a common thing. So instead of telling them, you see how bad that dog is, every time that dog's around, oof, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it from me, you're gonna get it from that dog. It's just, and then your dog is saying, oh God, here we go, we're going out. Oh God, I'm really scared, but I'm happy, we're going out. And then they see that, even if they hear a collar jingle, right? It can get to that point. Or the superstitious behavior, meaning they know where that barking German Shepherd house is, and every neighborhood's got them, right? Go, that blah, blah, oh my gosh. But you can use that to your advantage. You can use that barking German Shepherd's house to your advantage. So what you want to do is make sure your baby's hungry and take food with you. Because in food, let me tell you something about treats and why I use them. Because these old school trainers say, oh no, my dog needs to do this out of loyalty. And I go, wow, that's great. So you work for free? 40 hours a week, is that how that works? Or yeah, you don't ever get a paycheck. How dare you not get it? You're not supposed to take a paycheck. Be loyal to your boss. Come on. Dogs are like little kids. It's all in it for them. And like, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Woo! They don't, I mean, you're nice and all, but you ain't that cool. Look, if you're walking your dog in Squirrel Alley, your importance has gone down to nothing. They're like, wow, So food, when you use food with your dog, and it needs to be something that they like, not something you think they like. And I was just saying, we were talking earlier, and I said, I use Trader Joe's frozen turkey meatballs. I tell you what, you thaw that sucker out. If you've got a Trader Joe's frozen turkey meatball thawed out, your dog would be like, yes ma'am, I am in it to win it. What you want me to do, Because the level of yumminess of the treat needs to match the level of distraction. So people go, oh no, my dog's not food motivated. Oh, yes they are. Yes they are. You know why your dog's not food motivated? You leave food down all day for him. It's like the Vegas buffet. No, man, what are you doing? No, don't do that. Your dog needs to be hungry. And look, you get this work in cats for sure. I worked cats. And you know, I went in to go work cats thinking, that's right, I'm a trainer. And then you work cats and they just walk off. And you're like, oh my God, wait, come back. And I thought, okay, I'm really not so good at this. I actually am kind of terrible. So I had to relearn and make it all about the animal and really be humble. Be humble, just be humble, you know, and help them out. So use the treats, because the treats are a paycheck. It's not some sort of bribe. You don't have to have the food on you forever, you know, but when you're first teaching any kind of behavior, it's again like a little kid. Well, and I'll just be honest, to have a son, it's like, oh, you pee-peed on the pot, yay, here's some M&Ms. You know, they need constant reinforcement when you're little, because that's what you need. And when you're a grown-up, you can go a couple weeks without a paycheck and not freak out. You still go to work. It's not like you don't go anymore just because you didn't get the paycheck. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same thing with dogs. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Yes, ma'am, do you have a question? That is a brilliant question. Why do you need to train dogs? That's actually a really, from out of the mouth of babes right now, that's a very good question. Some people don't, and you know what? I'm not even a trainer. How do you like that bombshell? Oh, dang. I'm not a trainer, and I tell you, there are way better obedience instructors out there in the world than me. Because, thank you, segue, child. This is the perfect little segue. Thank you, you're brilliant. You can come up here and finish it. No? Oh, look at her, she's a So training, right? Training is, and it's great. We need training, because training is school, right? Like sit down, stay calm, all that stuff. It's very important. And that's like for us, that's reading and writing. You need to learn math, really important. But school doesn't make you a good person. Think about that for a minute. School doesn't make you have less anxiety, right? School doesn't make you make proper decisions about your life. Parenting does that. Parenting does that. So what I teach is canine parenting. Because, and you know, let me tell y'all, Crawfish is getting there. He's getting there. But it's been a year and he's still kind of he was strangling. He has impulse control issues because he's so excited. But, you know, my dogs don't hold the perfect downstay. I ain't going to some dog show. I mean, you know, Crawfish came out of the swamp off a chain, like, you know. No, people say he ain't fancy, but he's fancy to me. He's perfect in every way, and he smells like flowers. But he doesn't have the perfect downstay or the perfect sit stay or any of that stuff, and I don't really care. I don't care. I don't really care at all, because I would rather have a dog with an opinion, a dog with personality, a dog who's kind of a pain in the butt, a dog who's, I don't know, just knows the right thing to choose and does the other thing. I respect that. I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's cool by me. I don't want a robot, is what I'm saying. And that's definitely not what I do. I want a dog who is happy and confident. You know, again, like it ain't rocket surgery. I just want him happy and confident. So I am not a trainer. So there you go. Does that make sense to everybody? Like the training versus, right? Because, you know, a lot of trainers you take dogs to, and they'll go, oh yeah, we'll keep him, right? We'll keep him for 2 weeks, and then he's cured. Like, oof, man, I worked for those people before. And that's like sending your child off to boarding school, and you get it back after a couple weeks and expect to have it raised. No, y'all have to do it. You have to parent your children. Can't be me, because your dog comes to my house, you're fine. You know what I mean? So y'all need to like learn how to parent your child in the way they need, because it's not about what you want, and it's not about what your dog wants, because we know what they want. You know, give me the entire turkey, please. The entire turkey. Yes, thank you. Set it on the floor for me. You know, dogs want what they want, but it needs to be what the dog needs, and so that means that y'all have to be good parents. Yes? No? Makes sense? Yes? Is she staring at me? Oh, thank you. Oh, take questions. Questions? Yes, please, questions. I'm sorry. Yes, I know I've got it. Yes?
I have a dog, I got him at 8 weeks of age.
Okay.
And he was attacked when I brought him out of my vehicle by a neighbor's dog.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, the dog.
And how old was he when he got attacked?
He was 8 weeks old.
Oh,
He was
jeez.
just-
That's traumatizing event.
And I did a bad thing. I picked him up, coddled him. I should have probably left
Yeah,
him
well.
down. But you know,
You're a parent. What are you going to do? It's your baby.
2 weeks later, he was attacked again
Oh,
from
for
another
the love
neighbor's
of-
dog on a trail.
Hmm.
And now,
See, this is why I do not walk my dogs. Right there.
yeah, now he's extremely
Fearful.
fear aggressive. He loves to go on walks with me, but the minute a dog is with
Yeah.
he's got the sense, he's got a great nose because he's a Labrador, so and he can smell them.
He's paranoid.
And he's the hair's up, the tail's up, he's ready to go.
And you know, I mean, a lot of us, if we get mugged in an alley, a lot of us would be well adjusted after that, mentally and emotionally, and some of us wouldn't, right? I mean, and that's extremely traumatic. I mean, and that's twice in a short amount of time. I'm assuming the second attack was,
Yeah, so
right?
2 weeks, it was 2
So-
weeks later.
Oh,
And
gosh.
I mean, I get him out a lot, but my concern is
Okay.
can I get him away from this?
Yes and no. There's the answer. How do you like that? That means nothing, does it? They're like, great, Blondie. Tell us what we don't know. Yes and no meaning. You can, Early trauma is challenging. Can you get him to plateau off at a place where, I'm just trying to think of what would be realistic for him.
He's 4 now, by the way.
Oh, and he's still panicked. What does he do? How does this?
He's fine when we go out. If certain dogs are near him, not all dogs, I should
Oh,
say.
see, I have so much to say, y'all. I don't have enough time.
The hair on the back,
Yeah.
you know, the tail's always up. He's
Yeah.
dominant, so the tail's
Well,
always up.
and I think he's just paranoid. 'Cause, you know, I mean, and now all dogs are guilty until proven
And
innocent.
he keeps turning his stare. He'll turn.
You're like, oh, good.
He'll like, oh, they're there, and I'm like, come on, let's go,
Yeah.
you know,
So,
gotta make it fun.
and the first part of that is, why does your dog react to some dogs and not other dogs? Right? And here's the answer to that. It's the dog's energy, the other dog's energy. Also, it's the other dog's, the shape of their body. Because God love a husky, everybody wants to bite them. Because they look mad. Their ears are up, their fur is up, their tail is up, they're up like this, and they just look like they're ready to rock and roll, like we're ready to fight now. And so dogs trigger on those dogs. But if a greyhound walks by, well, nobody wants to bite a greyhound because their little ears are back, and their little back is arched, and their tail is low, and they walk like this, for God's sakes. Like, you know, so I'm sure he goes for dogs with high energy, dogs that are probably terriers, because terriers like to scrap.
Yeah.
You know, little Jack Russells, little barky dogs. It could be big dogs who are mellow, but their size is intimidating. You know, and if you could find the common denominator, that would be great. Like, he really triggers towards whatever, shepherds, or no, you haven't found that yet?
No.
Okay, so here's what you do. When you walk your dog, it needs to be like a scientific experiment. When I walk my dogs, it is for work. We are learning and growing and doing it together. So it's not just some free for la-da-da-da-da. No, you plan it out. And you take your dog hungry, and you have your meatballs, and you may even want to do it in a separate Ziploc bag, have some bacon, or some steak, or some whatever it takes, another up higher, yummier treat. And so if he sees another dog, you need to acknowledge it. Because let me tell y'all, our dogs think we are knuckle-dragging mouth breathers. Can I just say that, the truth right now? Because they're going, look at all the danger in the world, and there's a dog there, and it's a Jack Russell, and it's gonna bite you in the neck, and then I can't find my way home, and I don't have thumbs, and I can't open the door, and who's gonna feed me dinner? You know, they think we're morons. So if you can spot the dog first, nice, right? And you go, hey, look at that big German Shepherd. I wonder what kind of collar he has. I don't know, you know, it looks sort of pink like the one that so-and-so, just talk. Just talk. Because what do we all do? If you have a dog, reactive dog, what do? You go, oh, I know it's coming. And your stomach muscles get tight, and your breathing gets shallow, and your eyes dilate, and you crank up on that leash, and you're running, right? So if you just talk, oh, goodness, well, here we go, and isn't he adorable, and blah, 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 makes you breathe. Woo. So your dog is not feeling that panic lightning right down the leash into their body, you know, and you go, wow, look at that little dog. I'll be darned. You know what that means. Woo, meatballs. And all they need to do is look at you. You know, you don't have to sit. Don't make him sit stay. That's just rude. You know, if you're actually genuinely afraid of something, if I'm panicked at spiders, and there's a spider right here, and somebody says, now you have to stand here and stare at it. Oh, God, I'm gonna want to vomit. Right? No, like you need to move his body away from there and go, look at you. Oh, what a good dog. This cookie, cookie, cookie. And then get the heck out of there. And if he has enough of those experiences under his belt, what he'll then start doing is going, hey, look, Shepherd. Meatball, Shepherd, come on. I know you got him, a soft pouch. Bring it. Right? That's what you're looking for, yes? And you don't have to be a jerk. It's totally doable. It ain't rocket science. But it takes a long darn time. That's what's pain in the butt. Right? Because if you've been traumatized, dang, man, that takes a long time to bubble that up out of you and put in a new 30 days to make a habit. You know, here's hoping that would work. But the thing is, if somebody catches you off guard and some little velociraptor Jack Russell runs up and nails him in the butt, Lordy, you got some backtracking to do, right? So keep it like really so you know what's going on. You know, and that's why, again, I don't walk my dogs. You know what I do? I put my dogs in the car and I go, Balboa Park is great. I don't know, I'm sure y'all know about. Right, and I take my dogs by the play structure where the kids play because those mamas are like rabid. And if there's a loose dog, they go, hey, excuse me, sir, excuse me, you put your dog in a leash, so they can be my police. So I don't have to do it. And then my dogs are there getting desensitized to all the kids playing and all the stuff, and my dogs do great, and I don't have to worry about everybody else. Because, people, and dog park, let's not even go there, y'all. Y'all know, right? Everybody's going, oof, no. I mean, and not to mention, Coccidia, Giardia, parvovirus, distemper virus, ringworm, mange, of which I have literally had mange before.
Next question.
Like, oh, yes. She's my friend, I can badmouth her.
We have the same situation with our boy. And your answers to those were perfect for us. I think we got a lot of that. But what kind of collar would you suggest I use?
Collar?
Yeah.
They have something in it. Collar, awesome. I hate microphones. I use a martingale style collar. I don't use leash correction, so I don't really care what kind of collar it is. The only thing I worry about, because I work with really, it's always in the bottom of the bag, isn't it? Everything you're looking for? Yeah. Bottom of the bag. Women are like, especially when you have a big girl purse like a. These were made for greyhounds, actually, because greyhounds have big necks and little heads. So it slips on like this. There are no, let me do a little Vanna White. So there are no buckles to break. You can actually stick it in the washing machine too, so it don't stink if it's getting stinky. And it adjusts here, ladies, like a right here. And so you slip it on and adjust it. And so the leash hooks here. So when your dog, you know how they do, they get squirrely on you and they try to back out of it when they get scared. It does like that, right? And then if you need it, you have the handle. And then when you let go, it just hangs loose again. I mean, should you leave these on your dog all the time? No, probably not. I do, because my dogs are all very compartmentalized in crates. But, you know, could they hurt themselves? Probably. But this is the safest way. And I use a nice, good leather leash too, because I've had Neapolitan Mastiffs. Thank you. He's like, yeah, use that collar. I've had Neapolitan Mastiffs for many, 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 many years, and lots of different Mastiffs through my house, dogos and presses and all that stuff. So any kind of nylon leash, it'll burn you. So I like a leather. And so this way, you know, and really, when you have good equipment, because I'm short, you know, I mean, I ain't the strongest girl around. So if you have really good equipment and you know they can't get away from you, you can actually relax. And taking someone who does not have a dog is good too. If you're taking out a dog who is reactive, have an additional person with no dog to just assist you to get, you know. And actually in class, I mean, obviously I don't have time, but in my obedience classes for difficult dogs, we go over what to do when you come across a loose dog, and which is scary. I'm like, oh, right? God. And then if you don't have this collar, you could be standing there with a leash and no dog. And like, gonna pee on yourself because you're freaked out and your dog's taking off and fighting with a neighbor dog down the street. You're like, oh man, what was I thinking getting this dog? So, questions? Anybody? Yes?
I have a very lazy dog, but like
You're lucky.
She used used to know some tricks, but now I'm like trying to retrain her to get her to remember those tricks.
Right.
But like she doesn't really want to, so how do I train her?
Well, and I think it's about food motivation. Because you have to think, this is so method acting. What is my motivation? What would she like? Maybe if she were really hungry, maybe her favorite food is cheese. Maybe, who knows, right? We have to find out. Maybe her favorite food is popcorn. Who knows, right? You need to find her favorite food and do it really short amount of time. Really short amount of time. Little blips during the day. You can't do a big, long training session because dogs get tired. It's like boring, you know. If you're at school, you're like, ugh, boring. You need to have recess in there, right, to shake it up. So do like little 4 or 5 minute, and do easy stuff at first. Because again, it's like school, you have to build up to the harder stuff. You know, I mean, she needs to learn regular math before she can do anything fancier. Right, make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, food motivated, get her some cheese. Y'all probably have string cheese at home, she may love it. Anyone, Bueller? Yeah.
I am a fence fighter.
Oh, no, thank you for that question. How brilliant. Because you know what, y'all, fence fighting, if y'all could eliminate that one thing, that would change your entire world. So with fence fighting, I am a big advocate of never leave your dog outside unattended, ever. Because so you have no idea how many clients have come to me like, just this is the weirdest thing, she just all of a sudden, she just hates kids. I'm like, really? All of a sudden? No, it's always a buildup. She's been outside by herself all darn day for 3 years, and after school the kids come by and poke her with sticks. No wonder she hates kids. So if you can set it up, you can use a long line if you want at first.
She's scared to death of it. We adopted her at 4 years old, very fierce.
I have no idea what happened. Yeah.
We tried, and the reaction from a rope was like you've never
Okay, so is she freaked out with a leash?
Leash at first. No,
Okay, and
no.
getting a little better. So maybe you can even let her trail a little dinky cat leash from like the Petco, like the little skinny ones. That's maybe only 4 feet long. Maybe that would be easier for her, and not so scary, at least at first. Just so you can say, oh, sweetie, thanks, I appreciate the violence, but we're not going to do that today, okay? And at least say something like that first, and then bring her in the house just immediately. Just bring her in immediately. And what you may want to do, too, while you're doing that, is go outside with her on purpose with food. And depending on how intense she is with the dog next door, because they freak out at her.
They do.
Right. And so basically what you would be doing is acclimating and desensitizing her to that. So, it would be, her current situation is, hear the dogs, blah, freak out, that's what she does. What you would like is for her to go, oh, I hear those dogs, meatball, hey, right? And so she's never out there unattended for a while. She could probably learn how to ignore them, especially if you're adding something yummy to it. Because what would be great, and Goo, actually, a dog that I just had worked with for a while. Her name is Goo. Oh my God, I love Goo. And Goo was a gnarly fence fighter, really intense, and they got her to the point where she would go in the backyard and it was the same thing. She would hear the and she'd go, meatball, and she would run up to the porch. When those dogs started barking, she would run up to the porch like, human, hello, where is it? Because she knew the routine. So again, it takes a while, but the thing is this, you can't have them out there unlearning what you're trying to teach, right? So they can't be unattended, right? So when you take your dogs on a walk, you need to know what's going on in the situation. Because if she's still practicing it, because aggression for sure can be like an addiction. It just gets like, they just slip right down in there. It's just what you do. So, you know, if you're an alcoholic and you're trying to stop drinking, don't let her go to the bar for like 30 days. Let her get a little immunity there for that, you know? And so if you can monitor her for at least 30 days and redirect and like, okay, we hear you. We know you're freaked out. We've got it. Mom's got it. You don't have to be a freak show. It's all good. Breathe and bring her in the house. All right. Anyone? Can you repeat the question? Oh, I'm supposed to be repeating the question. Oh, shoot. And you even told me to do that. Sorry. Go ahead.
She's aggressive with her food.
Okay, so and is she's aggressive with her kibble? Is she aggressive with bones and stuff too? And people too? And the yard too? Or
No.
Okay.
No, it's just occasionally you walk by her or food just that.
Okay.
She won't even be near her. she'll come over and she'll try to attack you.
Okay, so is her food out all day? Like,
Yes.
Okay, so there's the first thing that I would make different. So, and here's what I would do about that is to, like, I would feed twice a day, and then you'd hold the food bowl, and you ask her to sit, because that's how dogs say please, isn't it? They sit and look at you like, oh, good dog, okay. And so she asked please, and go, oh, thank you, honey, here, go, here's your food. And then after about 3 or 4 minutes, call her out of the room, shut the door, or put a baby gate or something, and then you go in and pick that food up and put it away. So it's not there for her to guard, because a lot of dogs get, what's the word for it? If you give them a bone that's too big, they kind of freak out, you know, because they don't, it's like a, and with their food, if it's too much food, it freaks them out. It's like, I don't want it, but I don't want you to have it. No, you can't have it, but I don't really want it. And if you give them the big bone, they'll hold it in their mouth and walk around and go, I don't know what to do. And then they try to bury it under the pillow cushions, and they poke with their nose, and that's not right. And then they gotta redo and get it out and put it somewhere else. It's like, oh my God, the drama. So I would start with that with the food, and you could also do, while you're doing that, maybe you do that for breakfast, and then for dinner, you could have 2 bowls, and you could have the food measured out in another cup. And you ask her to sit, oh, good job. And you put a little handful of food in this bowl, and let her finish that. And then you walk to the other, and you, oh, just at least if she looks at you, oh, good girl. Okay, here's another handful. And that kind of, takes the pressure off, you know, so she doesn't have to guard. And usually when the food guarding is happening, there are other stressors too. So it sounds like she's stressed out from something else going on. Maybe she's barking outside at people or dogs or something like that, and that's stressful for a dog. And let me tell y'all, you know, dogs bark at people and other dogs, not because they're brave. No, they bark. And most guard dogs bark because they're scared. I mean, there's a difference between aggression and a threat display. You know, a threat display is when you, like when a bear stands up and a cat fluffs up and a dog goes, wah, 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 wah. It's like, I really don't want to fight with you, and I'm really kind of freaked out right now, but I can't let that show because I'm really insecure, so please go away. I mean, that's what they're doing. So, I mean, it could be that she's doing that outside. I don't know if she is, if she's barking outside. No, okay. And that's the only really specific thing that...
Now, when she gets aggressive?
Yeah.
No, wait, she's in the room with me. Anybody tries to come in my room,
There it
she'll
is.
attack them.
Yep, there it is, yeah. And is she crate trained?
No.
Okay, I would do that for her benefit. And let me talk, I know, gosh, you're just trying to cut me off. Oh, I have 2 minutes. Can you tell I love my job? It's a little embarrassing. Like I dream in dog behavior, it's a little embarrassing. I just want to talk about crate training for just a second. I think Laura may cut me off. Crate training is not about you. People go, oh, I can't put my dog in a crate, that's cruel. And you know, when cribs for kids, for infants, first came to America, people went, oh, I can't put my child in jail, it's cruel. It's like, okay, do that, or have your 2-year-old with a fork and a light socket. You decide, woo, you know? So for dogs, it's, that's their sanctuary. She needs that for her. Because, you know, for a dog, if you don't have a crate, it's like you living with your family and you're sleeping on the couch. I mean, they love you, but you don't have anything that's yours. You know, your little bed and your toys and your things. Dogs get to own so little in life. I think they should have their things. And the crate should be maybe in your bedroom, like nice and dark and safe, you know, up again in the corner, maybe put a blanket over it, so she has somewhere to go when she's overloaded, because she's a sensitive baby. She's a sensitive baby and loves you so much. Oh, and was I supposed to talk about that? See, my other job, do y'all know what my other job is? Y'all ready to be freaked out right now? I'm an animal communicator. Bum, bum, bum. Ah! Yeah, I'm a psychic medium, like talking to dead people and the whole 9 I'm all a Claire, you know, like a Voigtler syndrome, blah, 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 blah. But, so yes, I mean, I'm getting from her, it's like I'm overloaded, I don't know what to do, I'm allowed on the bed, I'm allowed on the couch, I'm allowed all these freedoms, and I'm confused, and I want to be the baby. You know, so it's like, no, you're not allowed on the bed, you're not allowed on the couch, and you don't get the Vegas buffet. You have your breakfast, and then mommy takes it away, and if you're going to be crazy pants, then you go to your room for a little bit and just take a time out and breathe, honey, it's okay. You don't have to do that. And guarding a human is not out of some sense of loyalty for dogs, it's like guarding a bone. So there's no respect there. You're like her stash. And she's an addict. Really, right? Don't touch my stash, I'll cut you. Like, oh my God, would you calm down? Like, she doesn't need to be knife-wielding crazy pants. Like, breathe, little girl, you're all right. So when she feels overloaded, you can give her a timeout and let her kind of get a grip. I think she's overloaded. She's a sweetie, though. She's a good dog, I feel.
One more question.
Yeah, my battery's gonna die too. So.
Oh no, battery's dying, timer running out. Anyone? Bueller? Yes.
Dog barking in the car, barking at everything. Other cars going by, people walking down the street, nothing. Bark.
What kind of dog is it though?
She's a lab.
Okay, yeah.
And we got her when she was 8 months old. She's almost 13.
Yeah, yeah. And done it always. She's always done that?
Always done.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny, wouldn't it be nice if you could train a pit bull to have the personality of a golden retriever? Wouldn't it be cool? I'd be so rich right now. Like, wouldn't it be nice to train the, like, wow, barker person to be the quiet one? Would it be nice if I were actually quiet? That's never gonna happen. I'm like your dog. Basically what I'm saying is, I'm like your dog. Like,
She was like me.
oh, see? You and me. We all need to go have lunch. Yes, I mean, you know, to do something like that, it would need to be slow. And I mean, are you willing to really go through the process? Now, you may be, you may not be. It would be a very slow progression. Slow progression meaning she needs to be in the car at first, and she needs to learn the meaning of be calm. She needs to know what that means so she can see the difference.